A Grant Guide, Get a Grant from a Government or Foundation. Chapter 1. Getting Grants Info. Write a grant proposal. Grants are given for many purposes. Individuals, such as artists, scientists, educators, and students often apply for grants. Private businesses both large and small apply for grants to be used as venture capital for entrepreneurial projects. There are two primary sources of grants: government and private foundations. The federal government hands out billions of dollars in grants each year. There are thousands of private organizations called foundations which were established with the specific purpose of giving away money to worthy causes. In order to get a grant, you must make a pitch, in writing, to the government agency or the private foundation you want money from. That pitch is a written document, which is called a proposal or grant. You are presenting the facts about your company or organization in order to try to get some financial resources. Women and minority business owners get more grants than other people. Take a couple of grant writing classes which are often available through community education programs or as night courses at local colleges. Writing a grant proposal can be as simple as following the directions in your application packet. Add a little flair and your grant application can stand out, making your chances of selection better. In contacting a company, write a single-page cover letter stating briefly how your goals parallel those of the potential donor. Highlight the main points of your project. The cover letter should succinctly tell who will benefit from the project. Submit your proposal to companies, foundations, and organizations with the signature of your organization director. The cover letter should show enough spirit to interest the reader. Give the company a look at your recent projects and achievements. Present your concept in the best possible light. Obtain a sample application and study it. Have someone review your application for mistakes. Include all required elements. State your credit request, how much money you need. Include a copy of your business plan. Include federal income tax returns for the last 3 years for all members of the management team and the business owners. The golden rule is to follow their rules. Work closely with the grantor agency. They are sticklers for sticking to their application guidelines. Every agency bestowing grants has different rules for application, which is why reading the packet you receive thoroughly is so important. The government is a stickler for details, so if you make just one small mistake, your application will be disqualified. Once you decide which government agency you want free money from, contact them and ask for a grant application kit. Get to know some of the grantor agency personnel. Experts love to talk about their programs, so ask for advice, suggestions, and criticisms about your proposed project. A short checklist for a full-fledged grant proposal is: Introduction. Your need. Your objective. Your mission statement. Project summary. Methods to achieve it. Organization qualifications. Budget, references. Supporting documentation. Program's future. Tell briefly but precisely who you are, what your needs are, how the foundation can help you, what your resources and future plans are. Keep it simple. If you are requesting a grant for a specific idea or project, contact the agency, after you receive the packet, to see if they have recently awarded any grants for this type of work. If they have, it may be that no further grant money is available for that project. Whatever your idea, try to enlist written support from individuals in your community who may know you and like your idea. Grant applications backed by letters from local government, community, and business leaders improves your chances of receiving the award. Federal grant money may actually require these letters of endorsement. Your application packet will inform you of the specific requirements. Even if not required, support letters are encouraged. Having assistance on the project often encourages agencies who make grants available, as the project's chances of completion are heightened. Making a personal visit to the agency's office in your area is also important. Face-to-face contact is good from a networking point of view. People give people they know the breaks. Going to the local office will also help you understand eligibility requirements, deadlines, maximum free money amounts you can apply for, and other details you want to know about. You can also utilize an agency's library and determine through books, brochures, and conversation if there are other agencies you could apply to for free money. There is nothing that says you can't apply for 2, 3, or more free money grants at one time. It is a sound move to bounce your ideas off the agency individuals who will be considering your grant request. Many of these employees have been there a substantial length of time and will be well versed in the ins and outs of grant obtainment. They often appreciate that you asked their advice up front, and it can do wonders for you in terms of saving time and effort if you are headed down the wrong track. You could make, if convenient, a personal visit to the specific agency to meet the individuals who will be considering your proposal. There may be pertinent reference information at the agency which can help you with your proposal. It always helps to put a name to a face, and a professional look will help you in their estimation. Stay in contact with these people, especially if they work in the agency to which you will be submitting your bid. Even if you don't get a positive response on the first grant proposal, keep in touch. They can often tip you off to what future projects have a chance of being funded. You will likely not be the only one writing for grant money, so you have to do a better job of it than your competitor. You need to make sure that there is a need for your idea or project. Sufficient research done on your part to satisfy the grantors. No question that you are the best candidate to receive the grant. Time enough for you to review the application process and prepare your grant proposal. Here are the essential parts of a grant proposal. Summary. This generally outlines the proposed idea or project and is naturally slotted for the opening paragraph. Keep it both brief and interesting. It will be the first impression the grantor will have of you and your abilities, so work hard on this part of the document. Be sure only your key points are in this portion. Don't oversell it with too much detail. You and your business. The next section summarizes your qualifications and those of any others who will be working with you. You may want to include up-to-date biographies of all involved. Let the grantor know about your recent work and success, especially if you've been successful with any other grant program. Problem statement. This is where you summarize the need for this project or idea. You will need to note your idea's purpose, who will benefit, how they will benefit, what socio-economic area will be affected, hard data supporting the nature of the problem, what is currently being done, or not done, about the problem, what will happen if your idea is not funded and implemented, and how you intend to solve the problem. This may be the longest part of your proposal. Get any supporting documents you need from local community and government organizations. Be sure you can defend all your thoughts contained in this section. Objectives. These are the actual means by which you will solve the problem you just outlined. Outline them in detail, provide cost analyses of each to support your funding request, and lay them out in logical, sequential order. The agency will periodically review the progress of your project or idea once the grant is given, and it will likely be these actual objective points that will be used to measure your work. Detailed objectives. All of the activities relating to accomplishing these objectives will be laid out in detail here. This could include dates, resources needed, staff needed, progress checkpoints, relevant diagrams, charts or drawings, and all relevant details. Highlight any innovative work that will be used to help accomplish your objectives. Provide any reference material necessary to back up your details. Evaluation. Here, you will need to identify the results that will come from the project. You briefly stated these in your opening, but more specifics will be needed here. The only way to evaluate the project may be from seeing if it meets the results expected. You are solving a problem, after all, so your results should be your solutions and their resulting benefits. Some agencies have standard evaluation techniques, so be sure you reference those here if that is the case. Future funding. What will happen to the idea or project once finished? If it is self-completing, say so. If further maintenance will have to be done to keep the problem at bay, record how this is to be funded. You might be able to arrange for local support once the initial funding is depleted and the problem solved if it is something that requires ongoing work. Budget. While it would be nice to see the grant money fund the full cost of your idea or project, Current federal budget cuts may not make that feasible. If you are securing other funding or have a plan for money to pick up the additional expenses of the project, let the agency know that. Write out a detailed budget listing, and justifying the assorted expenses. You may receive all of the funding you need from the one grant, but you really shouldn't count on it. It's often easier to secure government funding if you have also tapped into other sources to help cover the costs, even if it's a small investment on your, and, if applicable, your partner's, part. While these are the key elements of a proposal you will write, get as much help as you need. Obtain as much input from area experts as you need before writing the proposal. They might have excellent suggestions and could play a role in helping you to complete the various activities associated with accomplishing your stated objectives. They might even be helpful in writing certain aspects of the proposal, especially the details of the work and tasks necessary to meet your objectives. Do a first draft, then get feedback. Give it to people who have helped you, or whom you trust to be properly judgmental about it. The best writing is done during the rewriting phase, so it's important to have people take a critical look at your first draft. You're too close to be thoroughly objective. Get others to help you analyze your initial work in preparation for a second draft. Go through the same process with your second draft. This should be shorter and less feedback should come in if you elicited enough comments the first time around. Make any changes necessary and get it to final draft form. Then have it proofread and bound into a booklet for submission purposes. The grant prospectus should be written after you've obtained the agency's application and grant guideline forms. There are many places to contact for potential grant information, and your decision should be closely allied with your skills and interests. The main points are: always look for new sources of grants and apply for them. Define your organization, company, vision, etc. Define your need. Follow the funder's grant application to a T. You have to sway them by presenting yourself as a worthy entity doing something good for humanity who has real needs in order to continue on with your good works. You must be very meticulous and specific. Try to appeal to them emotionally. Include pictures if you want. Personalize it. Be inspired in your writing style. Include any relevant documents. Edit it several times to make it the best it can be. Tell them what you've done so far. Use newspaper clippings, TV news coverage, video, DVD, etc. Package it neatly. Put it in a folder. Send it off. Hope for the best but don't hold your breath. It's the law of averages. The more places you apply to, the better your chances of getting a grant. Start right away on your next grant application. If you're rejected by a federal government agency, go to epic.org/open_gov/rights to get a copy of your grant application to find out why. Try number 658.1522 at the library. Grantwriters.org. Grants and scams. ftc.gov, watch out for scams. ripoffreport.com. Grant proposal websites / grant writing websites. Try number 658.1522 at the library. Grantwriters.org. fdncenter.org/onlib/orient/introl.html, grant seminar. Grants.gov. foundationcenter.org/getstart/faqs/html/corporate_giving.html. foundationcenter.org/getstart/faqs/html/propsample.htm. foundationcenter.org/getStarted/individuals-funds-net-services.com. cpb.org/grants/grantwriting.html. schoolgrants.org. federalgrantswire.com. lescobooks.com/moneyclub.htm. teachers.net/projects/grants. fdncenter.org/pnd/current, philanthropy news digest. fundsnetservices.com. nng.org, National Network of Grant Makers. nptimes.com. nyrg.org, New York Regional Association of Grant Makers. rag.org, Regional ASNs. of grant makers. ascd.org/readingroom/books/orlic96book.html, designing successful grant proposals. languagepolicy.org/grtips.html, do's and don'ts. Gray MacArthur, New York State Council on the Arts. tixi.com/publications/magazine.htm, Grantsmanship Center Magazine. surfsouth.com/j/purdue/grant.htm, number sign search, John Purdue's grant seekers page. languagepolicy.org/grants.html, show me the money. Tips and ideas for writing grants. friendcalib.org/newsstand/f3grant.htm, the body, heart, and soul of writing grants. Chapter 2. Foundation Grants Guide. Foundation Grants. The following information applies to getting money for an altruistic, service-type, non-profit business. You might be able to get some free money by applying for a grant or endowment. The entire key is to target your search down into those foundations and corporations that you have your best chance with. Ask for the Foundation Directory, the Bible of grant books, at the library. Foundations give away lots of money to charities, religious groups, individuals in need, businesses, and education. Most foundations are non-profit, existing to provide for the common good of society, and often they will help people in need. Receiving a grant starts with a little research. First, you will want to determine what is available. Then you need to make initial contact with the agency or foundation and see if your need for money fits their guidelines. Once that's done, you will find it easier to complete your proposal and obtain a grant. Begin by going to the yellow pages of grants, the Foundation Directory. You can find this book in the reference section of your local library, or if you live in a rural area, you may need to travel to a larger public library in the nearest major city. In this lengthy directory, you will find descriptions of every private grant foundation in the United States. By reading through these listings, you will find grants for every purpose you can imagine, from education to artistic projects, scientific research to projects to help the homeless. You will also learn what kind of funding the foundations provide to these projects. Some will offer a few $100s while others will give thousands and even millions of dollars a year. The Foundation Center, 800-424-9836, has resource collections of materials in many different locations, usually libraries, across the country. Go to fdncenter.org/collections/index.html for this information. There is another yellow pages for government money. Like the Foundation Directory, the Catalog of Federal Domestic Assistance, cfda.gov, lists every source of free money given away by the government, and the number of causes funded by private foundations is dwarfed by the scope of government grants. While looking through these grant listings, jot down the addresses and phone numbers of any foundations or government agencies which look promising, along with any other important information. Later, you will be able to access this list easily rather than having to go back through the entire book. Be specific about monetary needs. There are no hard and fast rules. Just write it up in the best way you can. When putting your letter inquiry together, be sure to include your name, address and phone number, a brief introduction and description of your need for money, a request for the Foundation's annual report and grant application, a request for a list of previous grant recipients, a sample grant proposal, and the Foundation's tax returns form the previous year. Literally defined, foundations are organizations that are designed not to make money but give it away. Some different types of foundations are general foundations like the Ford Foundation, Rockefeller Foundation, Carnegie Corporation, etc. Company-sponsored foundations, of which there are over 2,000, like the Alcoa Foundation, Sears Roebuck Foundation and U.S. Steel Foundation. Community foundations are umbrella organizations which administer the funds provided from a group of local sources. The most popular type of foundation are family foundations started by wealthy families to help people and institutions. There are over 34,000 of them in existence. Finally, Special foundations are foundations designed to give money to one entity like a hospital or a certain group of people like Native Indians or retarded children, etc. Public foundations get most of their money through large general appeals to the public, while private foundations are funded by a few people or organizations. Every foundation has to file a 990-PF form with the IRS. You can get access to these through the Foundation Center listed below. The entire key is to target your search down into those foundations and corporations that you have your best chance with. Prominent citizens are a potential source of money. Treat them exactly as you would a corporation. Look in some of the following books for leads. Biographical Dictionaries Master Index. Current Biography. Martindale-Hubbell Law Directory. Medical Specialists Directory. Social Register. S&PS Register for Corporate Executives. Trustees of Wealth. Who's Who. The richest people in America. Other possible sources are government agencies and other non-profit organizations. You can check out the National Directory of Non-Profit Organizations and possibly get assistance from some of them. Most government agencies that offer grants do so for research into a particular area of study or in the development of a new product, as well as many programs for things like community development. I found grant books at number 0.61, number 355.15, number 361.70, number 658.152 and HV 41.9 at the library. Foundation websites. Givespot.com, lnp.fdncenter.org/finder.html, Foundation Finder, basic info on 61,000 foundations. communityfoundationlocator.com/search/index.cfm, Foundation Locator, find foundations state by state. crossborderdirectory.org, cross-border directory, search European philanthropic orgs. Foundations.org. igc.apc.org. cof.org/locator. fdncenter.org/grantmaker. foundationcenter.org/findfunders/to-funders/top100assets.html, top 100 U.S. foundations. America's New Foundations. Taft Group. 12300 Twin Brook Parkway. Number 450. Rockville, MD 208552. 800-877-8237. Several different directories. Annual Register of Grant Support, a directory of funding sources. 3004 Glenview Road, Wilmette, Illinois 60091. 800-323-6772. 888 Boker 2. Boker.com. Catalog of Federal Domestic Assistance. General Services Administration. Number 101. 300 7th St. Southwest, Washington, D.C. 20407. 800-669-8331. cfda.gov. cfda.gov/federal-commons/index, different government agencies. gsa.gov. The Foundation Directory. Foundation grants to individuals. Foundation Center. 79 5th Avenue, NYC 10003. 800-424-9836. 212-620-4230. fdncenter.org. Several different directories. Directory of Financial Aids for Women. Directory of Financial Aids for Minorities. Grants Database. Oryx Press. 4041 N Central, Phoenix, Arizona 85012. 800-279-6799. OryExpress.com. There are foundation guidebooks specifically for many states. Ask about them at your local library. In addition, the reference section of many libraries have a special section for fundraising resources. Philanthropy periodicals. Chronicle.com. fdncenter.org/phil/filmin.htm. oneworld.org, pgtoday.com, philantropy-journal.org. Benefactor. Check your local newsstand. Chronicle of Philanthropy. 1255 23rd St. Northwest, Washington, D.C. 20037. Corporate Philanthropy Report. 2727 Fairview Avenue East, Seattle, Washington 98102. 206-329-0422. Foundation Giving Watch. 12300 Twin Brook Parkway, number 450, Rockville, MD 208552. 800-877-8237. Foundation News. 1828 L. St. N.W., Washington, D.C. 20036. 202-466-6512. Fundraising Management. 224 7th St. Garden City, New York 11530. Giving USA. 25 West 43rd St. Number 820. NYC 10036. Grant Announcement Service. 70 Audubon St. New Haven, Connecticut 06510. 203-772-1345. Minority Funding Report. 1611 North Kent St. Number 508. Arlington, Virginia 22209. 703-528-1000. Nonprofit Times. 190 Tamaback Circle, Skillman, New Jersey 08558. Foundation Center Info. The Foundation Center. 79 Fifth Avenue/L6th Street, NYC 10003-3076. 212-620-4230. 800-424-9836. FDNcenter.org has links to organizations providing grant money to individuals with disabilities. Subscription to online foundation grants to individuals database for fee. Ask for their catalog of fundraising publications. The Foundation Center, 800-424-9836, has resource collections of materials in many different locations, usually libraries, across the country. Go to fdncenter.org/collections/index.html for this information. Regional Offices. 1001 Connecticut Avenue, NW, Washington, D.C. 20036. 202-331-1400. 312 Sutter St. Number 312. San Francisco, California 94108. 415-397-0902. 150 Hurt Building, 50 Hurt Plaza, Atlanta, Georgia 30303. 404-880-0094. Kent Smith Library, 1422 Euclid, number 13566. Cleveland, Ohio 44115. 216-861-1933. Foundation Directories by State. These are books which lists the foundations in one particular state. Preface your letter with Foundation Directory. Guide to Funders in Central Appalachia and the Tennessee Valley. 517 Union St. Number 206. Knoxville, Tennessee 37902. 615-523-5783. Covers several of the states in that area. Alabama. Alabama Foundations Directory. Public Library. Government Documents Department. 2100 Park Place, Birmingham, Alabama 35203. 205-226-36600. California. Guide to California Foundations. 462 Harbor Boulevard, Belmont, California 94002. Colorado. Colorado Foundation Directory. 6300 East Yale Avenue, Denver, Colorado 80222. 303-692-0270. Connecticut. Connecticut Foundation Directory. 70 Audubon St. New Haven, Connecticut 06510. 203-772-1345. Delaware. Delaware Foundations. United Way. 625 Orange St. 3rd FL. Wilmington, Delaware 19801. 302-573-2414. D.C., City of Washington. Community Foundations of Greater Washington. 1002 Wisconsin Avenue, N.W. Washington, D.C. 20007. 202-338-8993. Florida. Florida Foundations Directory. 9350 S. Dixie Highway. Number 1560. Miami, FL 330-1566. 305-670-2203. Hawaii. Directory of Foundations. Volunteer Information and Referral Service. 680 Iwile Road. Number 430. Honolulu, Hawaii 96817. 808-536-7234. Idaho. Directory of Idaho Foundations. 1010 Dearborn St. Caldwell, ID 836605. 208-459-3242. Illinois. Illinois Foundation Directory. 401 Kenmar Cr. Minnetonka, Minnesota 55343. 612-542-8582. Indiana. Directory of Indiana Donors. 1500 North Delaware St. Indianapolis, Indiana 46202. 317-638-1500. Kansas. Directory of Kansas Foundations. Topeka Public Library. Foundation Collection. 1515 West 10th St. Topeka, Kansas 66604. 913-233-2040. Kentucky. Kentucky Foundation Directory. POB 9223. Cincinnati, Ohio 45209. 513-793-4919. Louisiana. Handbook of Private Foundations. 2515 Canal St. Number 401. New Orleans, Louisiana 70119. 504-822-4906. Maine. Directory of Maine Foundations. U. of Southern Maine. Office of Sponsored Research. 246 Deering Avenue. Number 628. Portland, Maine 04103. 207-780-4871. Maryland. Annual Index of Foundation Reports. Attorney General. 200 Paul P.L. Baltimore, Maryland 21202. 410-576-6300. Massachusetts. Associated Grant Makers. 294 Washington St. Number 840. Boston, Massachusetts 02108. 617-426-2606. Michigan. Foundation Directory. 300 North Washington Square. Number 401. Lansing, Michigan 48933. 517-487-5436. Minnesota. Foundation Directory. 401 Kenmar Cr. Minnetonka, Minnesota 55343. 612-542-8582. Missouri. Missouri Foundations Directory. POG 28033. St. Louis, Missouri 63119. 314-962-2940. Montana. Montana and Wyoming Foundation Directory. Eastern Montana College Library. 1530th. Billings, Montana 59101. 406-657-1666. Nebraska. Nebraska Foundation Directory. Junior League. 11915 Pierce Plaza. Omaha, Nebraska 68144. 402-330-0197. Nevada. Nevada Foundation Directory. 1401 East Flamingo Road. LV, Nevada 89119. 702-733-7810. New Hampshire. Corporate Philanthropy in New England. 70 Audubon St. New Haven, Connecticut 06510. 203-772-1345. New Jersey. Mitchell Foundation Guide. POB 613. Belmead, New Jersey 08502. 908-359-2215. New York. New York State Foundations. Foundation Directory. 79 Fifth Avenue. NYC 10003. 800-424-9836. North Carolina. Grant Seeking in NC. Center for Public Policy Research. 2700 Wycliffe Road. Number 312. Raleigh, North Carolina 27607. 919-783-9199. Ohio. Foundation Directory. Attorney General. Charitable Foundations Section. 30 East Broad St. Columbus, Ohio 43266. Oklahoma. Foundation Research Project. POG 1146. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma 73101. 405-235-5603. Oregon. United Way. 718 W. Burnside. Portland, Oregon 97209. 503-228-9131. Pennsylvania. TRIA Advocates Associated. POB 3366. Springfield, Pennsylvania 19064. 215-544-6927. Rhode Island. Rhode Island Foundation Directory. 70 Audubon St. New Haven, Connecticut 06510. 203-772-1345. South Carolina. State Library. 1500 Senate St. Columbia, South Carolina 29211. 803-734-8666. South Dakota. State Library. 800 Governors Drive. Pierre, South Dakota 57501. 605-773-3131. Texas. Funding Information Center. 507 Brooklyn. San Antonio, Texas 78215. 512-227-4333. Washington. Attorney General. Charitable Trust Division. POB 40106. Olympia, Washington 98504. 206-753-0863. West Virginia. County Library. Administrative Office. 123 Capital St. Charleston, West Virginia 25301. 304-343-4646. Wisconsin. Memorial Library. Marquette University. 1415 West Wisconsin Avenue, Milwaukee, Wisconsin 53233. 414-288-1515. Wyoming. C. Montana. Laramie County Community College. 1400 East College Drive, Cheyenne, Wyoming 82007. 307-778-1205. Some specific foundations. The following is a list of foundations that may give you money if you can touch them, with a story ending with a spark of survival, inspiration, and hope. You can plug their names into the internet to get a website name and see what they do. AACR.org, American Association for Cancer Research, ACR. AAFlaw.org, Amateur Athletic Foundation of Los Angeles. Abel.org/Abel, Abel Foundation. Adobe.com/about-adobe/philanthropy/main.html, Adobe Philanthropy Council. AECF.org, Annie EKC Foundation. Archstone.com/Archstone, Archstone Foundation. Arco.com/corporate/reports/foundation/home.htm, Arco Foundation. Aetna.com/foundation, Aetna Foundation. Alcoa.com/grant. AliciaPatterson.org, Alicia Patterson Foundation. AmericanExpress.com/corp/philanthropy, American Express Company. AmericansPiritFDN.org, American Spirit Foundation. Ameritech.com/community/index.html, Ameritech Corporation. Amheart.org, American Heart Association. AmyFound.org, Amy Foundation. Annenberg.org, Annenberg Foundation. APA.org/science/awd.html, American Psychological Association Funding. APSANet.org/content_3115.cfm, the American Political Science Association. Here you'll find grants and fellowships that are sponsored by this political science-focused organization. ArtsMidwest.org. ATR.org/Bradley, the Bradley Foundation. ATRFoundation.org, Territory Resource, A. ATT.com/foundation. ATT.com/foundation, AT&T Foundation. BellSouth.com/BSF, Bell South Foundation. BenJerry.com/foundation/index.html, Ben & Jerry's Foundation. BenJerry.com/scoop/partnershops.html. Benton.org, Benton Foundation. Benton.org, Benton Foundation. Beverage.org, Frank Stanley Beverage Foundation. GPFoundation.org, Gary Payton Foundation. BradleyFDN.org. Brainerd.org. Brainerd.org, the Brainerd Foundation. BushFoundation.org, Bush Foundation. Those living or working in Minnesota or the Dakotas can find funding for community initiatives and research in medicine, the arts and more through the Bush Foundation. BWFund.org, Burroughs Wellcome Fund. BWFund.org, Burroughs Wellcome Fund. BWFund.org, Camille and Henry Dreyfus Foundation. CAORC.org, the Council of American Overseas Research Centers. Carnegie.org. Carnegie.org, Carnegie Corporation of New York. Carnegie.org, Carnegie Corporation of New York. MTN.org/LindFDTN, Charles A. and Anne Morrow Lindbergh Foundation. Dana.org, Charles A. Dana Foundation. Carnegie.org, Carnegie Corporation of New York, founded by noted philanthropist Andrew Carnegie in 1911. This organization funds research and other projects that promote peacemaking and advancing education. CarnegieEndowment.org. CASE.org/IRF, National Center for Institutionally Related Foundations. Citizens.scholarship.foundation.org/CSFA.htm, Citizens Scholarship Foundation of America. CMWF.org. CMWF.org, Commonwealth Fund. COF.org, Council on Foundations. coralgables.net/cgfound.hdm, Coral Gables Community Foundation. corp.hp.com/publish/ug. crdf.inter.net, U.S. Civilian Research and Development Foundation. Culpeper.org. Culpeper.org, Charles E. Culpeper Foundation. Dana.org. Dana.org, Charles A. Dana Foundation. Dana.org, Dana Foundation. The Dana Foundation focuses on two key areas for support: neuroscience and arts education. Dana.org, the Charles A. Dana Foundation. Delmas.org, Gladys Kriebel Delmas Foundation. DoRight.org, Do Right Foundation. Dryers.com/pages/philanth.html, Dryers Charitable Foundation. Drucker.com, Peter F. Drucker Canadian Foundation. DuPontFund.com, Jesse Ball DuPont Fund. ed.gov/money.html. ef.org, The Energy Foundation. mkf.org. mkf.org, Ewing Marion Kaufman Foundation. enterprisefoundation.org. familyvillage.wisc.edu/jpkf, The Joseph P. Kennedy, Jr. Foundation. fdncenter.org, Foundation Center. fdncenter.org, Foundation Center. fdncenter.org/grantmaker/WT Grant. fordfound.org, Ford Foundation. fordfound.org, Ford Foundation. fordfound.org, Ford Foundation. The Ford Foundation supports research and development in the areas of knowledge, creativity and freedom, peace and social justice, and community development. fordfound.org, Ford Foundation. foundationcommons.org, Foundation Commons. funder.org/Caritage, Carith Foundation. gaia.earthwatch.org/cfr/cfr.html, The Center for Field Research at Earthwatch. gatesfoundation.org. gatesfoundation.org, The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. ge.com/fund/ibfuna13.htm, GE Fund. jebi.org, Jebi Foundation. getty.edu/grant. gf.org, John Simon Guggenheim Memorial Foundation. Find funding for research in nearly every field including the arts, natural sciences, social sciences, and the humanities. glef.org. glef.org, George Lucas Educational Foundation. glf.org, Gates Library Foundation. goldmanfund.org, Richard and Rhoda Goldman Fund. rwjf.org, Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. grateful.dead.net/cavenweb/rex, Rex Foundation. gsn.org, the Global Shuelnet Foundation. gundfdn.org, George Gund Foundation. hbfuller.com, Fuller Co. Foundation. heinzfamily.org/programs/index.html, Heinz Family Philanthropies. Here you'll be able to find sponsorship on a wide range of issues including aging, women's studies, the environment and the arts. Hewlett.org. hfg.org, Harry Frank Guggenheim Foundation. hhmi.org, Howard Hughes Medical Institute. hhmi.org, Howard Hughes Medical Institute. hluce.org. hri.com/mea/mayafhome.html, Mitsubishi Electronic America Foundation. hri.org/FHC, Foundation for Hellenic Culture. humanisminmedicine.org. ibm.com/ibm/ibm gives, IBM Corporation. ittlesenfoundation.org, Ittleson Foundation. ifs.plants.ox.ac.uk/ifs/ifs.htm, International Foundation for Science. igc.apc.org/gfw, Global Fund for Women. iie.org/cs, Fulbright Grants. irex.org, IRX Grant Opportunities. Irvine.org, James Irvine Foundation. itvs.org, Independent Television Service. JackieRobinson.org, Jackie Robinson Foundation. JCCFund.org, Jane Coffin Child's Memorial Fund. JCDowning.org, the J.C. Downing Foundation. Getty.edu/fbdemos/glance/glance.htm, J. Paul Getty Trust. JMGF.org, Joyce Mertz Gilmore Foundation. KAW.Wallenberg.org, Nutt and Alice Wallenberg Foundation. JMOF.org, John M. Olin Foundation, Inc. JMOF.org, John M. Olin Foundation. Josiah Macy Foundation.org. JoyceFDN.org. JSMF.org, James S. McDonnell Foundation. JVM.com/Davis, Arthur Bining Davis Foundation. ATT.com/foundation/grants.html, AT&T Foundation. BankAmerica.com/community/community.html, Bank America Corporation. BankersTrust.com/corpComm/report/index.html, Bankers Trust Foundation. Bell Atlantic Foundation.com/grants.htm, Bell Atlantic Foundation. JVM.com/Davis/FND. KnightFDN.org, John S. and James Knight Foundation. GF.org, John Simon Guggenheim Memorial Foundation. KONGSGAARD-GOLDMAN.org. LawlerFound.org, the Lawler Foundation. LCF.on.ca, London Community Foundation. Learner.org, Annenberg/CPB Project. Lehigh.edu/enefc/bbf/bbf.html, Big Ben Foundation. LeviStrauss.com, Levi Strauss Foundation. LilaWallace.org, Lila Wallace Reader's Digest Fund. Link Foundation.sc.ist.ucf.edu, the Link Foundation Fellowships. ListCnet.org, Local Initiatives Support Corp. Low.org. Lymphoma.org, Lymphoma Research Foundation of America, Inc. MacFDN.org, John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation. MacFDN.org, John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation. MacFound.org, John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation, for answers at macfound.org. MacFound.org, MacArthur Foundation. Those looking for support from the MacArthur Foundation should be pursuing projects in art and culture, digital media and education, community and economic development, policy research, or mental health. MacFound.org, MacArthur Foundation. Marian.org, Marian Foundation. Markle.org, Markle Foundation. MedFDN.org, Medina Foundation. Mellon.org. Mellon.org, Andrew W. Mellon Foundation. If you are looking for funding for research in higher education, scholarly communications, information technology, museums, and art conservation, performing arts or conservation and the environment, check out this well-known foundation. Mellon.org, Mellon Foundation. Meredith.org, Meredith Miller Foundation. MFF.org, Milken Family Foundation. mhv.net/gunk/welcome.html, the Gunk Foundation. hfg.org, the Harry Frank Guggenheim Foundation. Hartnet.org/hfpg, Hartford Foundation for Public Giving. MizutaniFDN.or.jp, Mizutani Foundation. Mott.org, Charles Stewart Mott Foundation. Mott.org, the Mott Foundation. This Michigan-based foundation provides grant support to those working on projects on poverty, the environment, and civil society. NCF.org, Nathan Cummings Foundation. NCIIA.org, National Collegiate Inventors and Innovators Alliance. NEAR.org, National Endowment for AIDS Research. NEBF.org, New England Biolabs Foundation. ned.org/dbt-wpd/textbase/search-funding.html, National Endowment for Democracy. Those working on projects that focus on bringing democracy to all areas of the world can find support through the resources supplied on this site. nffusa.org, Nonprofit Facilities Fund. nh.ultranet.com/ffsh, Foundation for Seacoast Health. nhf.org, National Heritage Foundation. nho.org/foundati.hdm, National Hospice Foundation. Nobel.se, Nobel Foundation. jovaniti.com/pdf/index.html, Peace Development Fund. noblecan.org/deco/index.html, Deco Foundation. niam.org/niam/fellowships, New York Academy of Medicine. oneworld.org/com_fnd, the Commonwealth Foundation. packard.org/home.aspx, Packard Foundation. This foundation aims to support projects that deal with reproductive health, science education, conservation, and children's programs. packfound.org. packfound.org, David and Lucille Packard Foundation. paulalen.com/foundations. pewtrusts.com. pewtrusts.com, Pew Charitable Trusts. pewtrusts.com, Pew Charitable Trusts. presscenter.com/cottonwd/index.html, Cottonwood Foundation. progeriaresearch.org, Progeria Research Foundation. Programs. publicwelfare.org. rbf.org, Rockefeller Brothers Foundation. rbf.org/grants database, Rockefeller Brothers. This large foundation supports research and initiatives in subjects like peacekeeping, democratic practice, sustainable development, stewardship and more. rbf.org/rbf, Rockefeller Brothers Fund. rockfound.org, Rockefeller Foundation. rockfound.org, Rockefeller Foundation. rotary.org/foundation. rotary.org/foundation, Rotary Foundation. rotary.org/foundation, Rotary Foundation. sarahswish.org, Sarah's Wish Foundation. scaife.com, Sarah Mellon Scaife, also the Carthage Foundation. scc.net/philanth, Philanthro-Fund. sleepfoundation.org/pickwick_postdoc.html, the Sleep Foundation. sloan.ece.uiuc.edu, Sloan Foundation. sloan.org. sloan.org, Sloan Foundation. saurus.org. saurus.org, Saurus Foundations Network. spencer.org. spf.org, Sasakawa Peace Foundation. srf.org, Smith Richardson Foundation. steelcase.com. sun.com/corporate overview/corp affairs/foundation.html, Sun Microsystems Foundation, Inc. tamu.edu/allen.html, Allen Foundation. tcf.org. thrasherresearch.org. toshiba.com/tia. turnerfoundation.org. ups.com, UPS Foundation. virtualfoundation.org, Virtual Foundation. wajones.org, W. Alton Jones Foundation. Volkswagen's.tiftung.de, Volkswagen Foundation. While sharing the same name as the car company, this organization is a separate institution, providing funding in huge variety of fields to those researching in Europe. wajones.org. weingartfnd.org, Weingart Foundation. wellspring.org. wennergren.org, Anthropology. weri.org/index.html, Worldwide Education and Research Institute. west.org/tie/grant.html. whitaker.org, Biomedical Research. whitaker.org, The Whitaker Foundation. wilberforce.org, Environment. windham-foundation.org, Wyndham Foundation. wkk.org, Kellogg Foundation. wkkf.org, WK Kellogg Foundation. wmkek.org, WM Keck Foundation. wtgrantfoundation.org, the William T. Grant Foundation. zurichfoundation.com, Xerox.com, Xerox Foundation. Adams Memorial Fund. 520 Madison Avenue, New York, New York 10022. Albert Cutter Memorial Fund. POB 3189, Term. N. Law, California 90051. Albertson Foundation. POB 20. Boise, Idaho 83702. Alexander Scholarship Fund. Posey County National Bank. 112 East 3rd St. Mt. Vernon, Indiana 47620. Alfred P. Sloan Foundation. 630 Fifth Avenue, New York, New York 10111. Artist Fellowship, Inc. Salmagundi. 47 Fifth Avenue, New York, New York 10003. Association for the Relief of Aged Women of New Bedford. 27 South 6th St. New Bedford, Massachusetts 02740. Aurora Foundation. POB 1848. Brandontown, Florida 33506. Avery Fuller Children's Center. 251 Kearney St. SF, California 94108. Bagby Foundation for Musical Arts. 501 Fifth Avenue, New York, New York 10017. Baldwin Foundation. 2 Hopkins Plaza, Baltimore, Maryland 21201. Bamberger Allen Health and Educational Fund. 163 South Main St. SLC, Utah 84111. Banbury Fund. 101 Park Avenue, 35th FL, New York, New York 10178. Barker Foundation. POB 328. Nashua, New Hampshire 03301. Battistone Foundation. POB 3858. Santa Barbara, California 93130. Benedict Family Foundation. 82 Wall St. New York, New York 10005. Beneficial Foundation. 110 Carr Road, Wilmington, Delaware 19899. Beulah Cliff Trust. Paul S. Longo. 199 Main St. White Plains, New York 10601. Biddle Foundation. 61 Broadway, number 2912. New York, New York 10006. Blanchard Foundation. Boston Safe. 1 Boston Place, Boston, Massachusetts 02106. Blue Horizon Health and Welfare Trust. Read and Rage. Lakeville, Connecticut 06039. Bowen Foundation. 1716 Locust, Des Moines, Iowa 50303. Boston Fatherless and Widowless Society. Exchange PL. Number 2200. Boston, Massachusetts 02109. Boston Foundation. 1 Boston Place, Boston, Massachusetts 02108. Breach Foundation. 12723 Telegraph Road, Detroit, Michigan 48239. Broadcasters Foundation. 320 West 57th St. New York, New York 10019. Cambridge Foundation. 99 Bishop Allen Drive, Cambridge, Massachusetts 02139. Carroll Foundation. 70 Enterprise Avenue, Secaucus, New Jersey 07094. Charles Stewart Mott Foundation. 500 Mott Foundation. Flint, Michigan 48502. Christian Business Caress Foundation. POB 360,691. Cleveland, Ohio 44136. Clark and Ruby Baker Foundation. Bank South. Personal Trust DEPT. POB 4956. Atlanta, Georgia 30302. Clark Foundation. 30, Wall St. New York, New York, 10005. Clark Foundation. U.S. National Bank of Oregon. epub 3168. Portland, Oregon, 97208. Cochems Trust. Colorado National Bank. epub 5168. Denver, Colorado, 80217. Colorado Masons Benevolent Association. 1770, Sherman St. Denver, Colorado, 80203. Columbus Female Benevolent Society. 228, South Drexel Avenue. Columbus, Ohio, 43209. Commonwealth Fund. 1, East 75th St. New York, New York, 10021. Copeland and Alott Foundation. 2100 DuPont Building. Wilmington, Delaware, 19898. Copley Foundation. epub 696. Morrisville, Vermont, 05661. Coulter Foundation. epub 5247. Denver, Colorado, 80217. Cullen Foundation. epub 1600. Houston, Texas, 77251. Cranston Foundation. 18, Market Square. Newport, Rhode Island, 02840. Crocker Testamentary Trust. epub 1045. Canaan, Connecticut, 06018. Dayton Foundation. 1395 Winter Bank Tower. Dayton, Ohio, 45423. DEPT of Health, Education, and Welfare. 330 Independence Ave. SW. Washington, D.C. 20202. Deposit Guarantee Foundation. epub 1200. Jackson, Mississippi, 39201. Earl Gilmore Foundation. 160 S. Fairfax. Law, California, 90036. Ederick Foundation. A102 Greenville Center. Wilmington, Delaware, 19807. Edna McDonnell Clark Foundation. 250 Park Avenue. New York, New York, 10017. Elizabeth Kirby Foundation. epub 1919. Jackson, Mississippi, 39205. Florence Foundation. epub 241. Dallas, Texas, 75221. Ford Foundation. 320 East 43rd St. New York, New York, 10017. Ford Motor Co. American RD. Dearborn, Michigan, 48121. Forney Foundation. epub 533. FT. Collin, Colorado, 80521. Fox Foundation. Connecticut National Bank. 777 Main St. Hartford, Connecticut, 06115. Frank Seaver Trust. 714 West Olympia Boulevard. Law, California, 90015. Gay Fund. 751 Grandon Avenue. Columbus, Ohio, 43209. George Harrington Trust. 1 Boston Place. Boston, Massachusetts, 02106. Gibson Foundation. 2 PPG Place. Number 310. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 15222. Gil Phelan Memorial. W555 First National Bank Building. St. Paul, Minnesota, 55101. Grass Foundation. 77 Reservoir. Quincy, Massachusetts, 02170. Grubb Oakland Scottish Rite Scholarship Foundation. 1547 Lakeside Drive. Oakland, California, 94612. Haskin Foundation. 200 E Broadway. Louisville, Kentucky, 40204. Hawaiian Foundation. 111 South King St. epub 3170. Honolulu, Hawaii 96802. Hazard Memorial Fund. 515 South 2nd Avenue. Columbus, Mississippi 39701. Henderson Foundation. epub 420. Sudbury, Massachusetts 01176. Hoobland Foundation. epub 388. Farmington, Connecticut 06032. Houchins Foundation. 900 Church St. Bowling Green, Kentucky 42101. Houston Endowment. epub 52338. Houston, Texas 77052. Hurlbut Foundation. First Tennessee Bank N.A. 701 Market St. Chattanooga, Tennessee 37401. Jack Petty's Memorial Fund. epub 324. Brush, Colorado 80723. James Irvine Foundation. 1 Market Plaza. SF, California 94105. Jane Nugent Kochems Trust. Colorado National Bank of Denver. epub 5168. Denver, Colorado 80217. John Ryan Foundation. 3200 Ryan Center. Des Moines, Iowa 50304. Johnson Educational and Benevolent Trust. 900 First City PL. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma 73109. Lake Foundation. Fidelta Bank. 135 South Broad St. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania 19109. Larrabee Fund Association. Connecticut National Bank. 777 Main. Hartford, Connecticut 06115. Margaret Baker Memorial Fund Trust. epub 7236. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania 19101-7236. Marion Isabel Co-Fund. Colonial Bank and Trust Co. epub 2210. Waterbury, Connecticut 06722. Marshall Foundation. epub 3306. Tucson, Arizona 85722. McMahon Foundation. 714 to 716 C. Ave. Lawton, Oklahoma 73502. Merrill Foundation. Bankers Trust. epub 1297. Church Saint Sta. New York, New York 10015. Middleton Fund. epub 2527. Mobile, Alabama 36601. Minneapolis Foundation. 500 Fauché Tower. Minneapolis, Minnesota 55402. Mitchell Foundation. epub 1126. Mobile, Alabama 36606. Morris Jose Loff Foundation. 125 La Salle Road. W. Hartford, Connecticut 06107. Musicians Foundation. Brent Williams. 200 West 55th St. New York, New York 10019. National Endowment for the Arts. 1800 G. St. N.W. Washington, D.C. 20506. NFL Alumni Foundation Fund. epub 248. Stevenson, Maryland 21153. Old Colony Charitable Foundation. epub 1990. Boston, Massachusetts 02105. Passano Foundation. 428 East Preston St. Baltimore, Maryland 21202. Paul and Mary Collins Trust. Lyon County Trust Bank. Rock Rapids, Iowa 51246. Percy Rods Thanks a Million. epub 23500. Minneapolis, Minnesota 55423. Perpetual Benevolent Fund. Bay Bank. 300 Washington St. Newton, Massachusetts 02158. Pew Memorial Trust. 229 South 18th St. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania 19102. Phillips Foundation. 29 Commonwealth. Boston, Massachusetts 02116. Pickett and Hatcher EDC Fund. epub 8169. Columbus, Georgia 31908. Pine MTN. Benevolent Foundation. epub 2301. Columbus, Georgia 31902. Rambud Charitable Trust. First Republic Bank. epub 2518. Houston, Texas 77252. Reed Industrial Foundation. Harris Trust and Savings. epub 755. 111 West Monroe St. Chicago, Illinois 60690. Rockefeller Foundation. 1133 Ave. Of the Americas. New York, New York 10036. Shapira Foundation. 528 W. Main. Louisville, Kentucky 40202. Shea Foundation. 655 Brea Canyon Road. Walnut, California 91789. Shell Co. Foundation. epub 2099. Houston, Texas 77001. Simon & Schwab Foundation. epub 1014. Columbus, Georgia 31902. Smock Foundation. Lincoln National Bank. epub 960. Ft. Wayne, Indiana 46801. Sorry Foundation. 4710 14th St. West. Bradenton, Florida 33511. Stearns Blodgett Trust. First Interstate Bank of Nevada. epub 30100. Reno, Nevada 89520. Textron Foundation. epub 878. Providence, Rhode Island 02901. Thatcher Foundation. epub 1401. Pueblo, Colorado 81009. Thrust Foundation. epub 185. Peru, Indiana 46970. Turner Foundation. epub 140. Columbus, Georgia 31902. U.S. Steel Foundation. 600 Grant. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania 15230. Weehadka Foundation. epub 150. West Point, Georgia 31833. Welch Trust. epub 244. Walla Walla, Washington 99362. Wheeless Foundation. epub 1119. Shreveport, Louisiana 71152. William Babcock Memorial Endowment. 305 San Anselmo Avenue. Number 219. San Anselmo, California 94960. William Penn Foundation. 1630 Locust. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania 19103. W.K. Kellogg Foundation. 400 N. Ave. Battle Creek, Michigan 49017. Xerox Foundation. epub 1600. Stamford, Connecticut 06904. Chapter 3. Other grant info. Australia grant websites. grantslink.gov.au. nsw.gov.au/popular_list.asp?KW=grants, 21, NSW Government Australia, NSW Government website providing information on tenders and grants as well as contact details for all ministers. Philanthropy.org.au. philanthropy.org.au/links/links.htm. Tenders.com.au. British grant websites. Welcome.ac.uk, the Wellcome Trust is the world's largest medical research charity. Canadian grant websites. cnbd.ca, Government Grants Canada. grants-loans.org, Small Business Consumer Centre. GrantCanada.com, Canadian Government grants, loans, and assistance programs. Grants are available for business, research, education, tourism, arts, and more. GrantsCanadian.ca, Canadian Government. Canada-grants.ca. BusinessGuide.net. Canadian-grants.ca. GrantCanadian.ca. FreeCanadianGrants.ca. Canadian Centre for Philanthropy. 425 University Avenue. Number 700. Toronto, on M5G1T6. 800-263-1178. 416-597-2293. Fax, 416-597-2294. general@ccp.ca. ccp.ca publishes the Canadian Directory to Foundations and Grants, which is available in book form or online for a fee. Most of the information comes from registered charity tax returns, Form T3010. Canada Revenue Agency/CRA. 2204 Walkley Road. Ottawa, on K1A1A8. 800-267-2384. 800-959-8281, General Questions. 800-267-5177. cra-arc.gc.ca. When doing research on a non-profit/charity, you can buy their tax return for a small fee. Some foundations and grants are as follows. Canadian-grants.org. Then ba.ca. cnbd.ca, Government Grants Canada, for new/existing business 1-888-922-2623. alva.ca, helps children at risk. atkinsonfdn.on.ca, social justice. bronfmanfoundation.org, social and educational. canadianliving.com/blf, Better Living Foundation, food for children. canadiantire.com, Canadian Tire Foundation for families. canfar.com, Canadian Foundation for AIDS Research. cdnwomen.org, Canadian Women's Foundation. cfgk.org, Community Foundation of Greater Kingston, Ontario. cfwh.org, Canadian Foundation for Women's Health. childrensmiracle.com, helps children. chumayarethicsfoundation.calgary.ab.ca, ethical leadership to better society. cibc.com, CIBC Charitable Foundation, the bank. comm-fdn.pe.ca, Community Foundation of Pay. communityfoundationottawa.ca. consideritedone.com, 902-422-6277, fundraising consultation, Canada. cp.ca, Canadian Pacific Charitable Foundation. counseling.net, Counseling Foundation of Canada. cvcfoundation.org, Comox Valley Community Foundation. Deere.com, John Deere Foundation of Canada, medical, education, culture. DonnerFoundation.org, economy, citizenship, environmental. ecfoundation.org, Edmonton Community Foundation. ejlb.qc.ca, environmental, medical research. fcf.nb.ca, Fundy Community Foundation, St. Andrew, NB. fcommunautaire.com, Fondation Communautaire du Grand Québec. fef.ca, Friends of the Environment Foundation, run by TD Bank. fondation-langlois.org, Foundation for Art, Science, and Technology. franco-manitobain.org/francophones, French culture in Manitoba. glaxowellcome.com, Glaxo Wellcome Foundation, Health. gordonfn.org, Canadian culture. gov.ab.ca/WRF, Wild Rose Foundation, helps volunteer organizations. hbc.com, Hudson's Bay Charitable Foundation, Children's Foundation, History Foundation, Arts and Education. History.ca, Historica Foundation of Canada, Culture and History. Homewoodhealth.com, Homewood Health Foundation, Mental Health Research. HuroniaCommunities.com, Midland, on. IGA.nl.net, International Grenfell Association, Arts and Education in Newfoundland. ImperialOil.ca, Imperial Oil Charitable Foundation, Arts and Education. Ivy.org, Ivy Foundation, Arts, Education, Environment. JewishFoundation.org. jp-group.com, Jim Pattison Foundation, Christian Causes, Medical. Kahanoff.com, Arts, Education, Medical. Kaufman.ca, Kaufman Charitable Foundation, Medical. KidsAction.com, Physical Disabilities in Children, Toronto. KPMG.ca, KPMG Educational Foundation. KWCOMMFDN.com, Kitchener-Waterloo Community Foundation. LaidlawFDN.org, support many causes. Landcenter.ca/foundation, Real Estate Foundation of BC. LawFoundationBC.org, Social Justice BC. Lawson.on.ca, Medical, Addictions. LCF.on.ca, London Community Foundation. LeonardFND.org, Educational, Religious. Lowen.com, Lowen Family Foundation, helps out in Manitoba. MaxBell.org, Health and Education. Maitree.com, Social Services, Immigration. McConnellFoundation.ca, Culture, Medical, Educational. McLeanFoundation.on.ca, Variety of Interests. MenoFoundation.ca, Mennonite Foundation. MetcalfFoundation.com, Charitable Foundation. MinervaFoundation.ab.ca, Community Services. Malson.com, Malson Donations Fund. Mudded.org, Mudded Foundation. NickelFoundation.org, Community, Charitable Projects in Alberta. Ondatia.com, Arts and Culture. ONF.org, Ontario Neurotrauma Foundation. ouc.bc.ca/cof, Central Okanagan Foundation, Kelowna, BC, Charitable. PACOast.com, Pacific Coast Savings Foundation, Education, Community. royalbank.com/community/donations/index. royalpage.ca/shelters, helps with women's shelters. saint-john-foundation.nb.ca, helps with causes around St. John, NB. seagullputer.com, Environmental, Atlantic Provinces. sickkids.on.ca, sickkids.ca, Hospital for Sick Kids Foundation. Sifton.com, Charitable Foundation. TELUS.com/TELUS Fund, grants for media projects. The CalgaryFoundation.org, cultural, charitable, educational. The CFO.org, Community Foundation of Oakville, on. ThompsonFoundation.mb.ca, Thompson Community Foundation, MB. TidesCanada.org, Social Justice. TrilliumFoundation.org, Arts and Culture, Social Services, Government of Ontario. utoronto.ca/BantareSF, Medical Research. vancity.com/VCF, Vancity Community Foundation, Vancouver. vancouverfoundation.bc.ca. victoriafoundation.bc.ca. wpgfdn.org, Winnipeg Foundation. zajic.com, helps the disabled and seniors. zlc.net, Zlotnik, Lamb and Co, medical causes. Other grant sources. free-government-grants.com GovBenefits.gov, a partnership of many federal agencies and organizations. Federal Register. This daily publication contains changes, proposed changes, and notices about rules and regulations affecting all government agencies and their programs. Federal agencies must publish the program description, eligibility requirements, and program guidelines in the Federal Register. For current subscription costs, write to Superintendent of Documents, U.S. Government Printing Office, Washington, D.C. 20402. access.gpo.gov/su_docs/aces/aces140, Daily Newspaper, The Federal Register. Commerce Business Daily. This publication contains a daily listing of U.S. government procurement invitations, contract awards, subcontracting leads, sales of surplus property and foreign business opportunities. For current annual subscriptions costs, write to the Superintendent of Documents, U.S. Government Printing Office, Washington, D.C. 20402. access.gpo.gov/su_docs. Economic Adjustment Division. Economic Development Administration. Herbert Hoover Building. Number H7217. Washington, D.C. 20230. doc.gov/resources/eda_info.html. Grant money for businesses in poor economic areas. Grants Management Office. Small Business Administration. 1441 L Street, NW. Washington, D.C. 20416. SBA.gov. Grant money for women's enterprises. Up to $200,000 grants are awarded to women in business annually. Indian Services Director. Bureau of Indian Affairs. 18th and C Streets, NW. Number 4600. Washington, D.C. 20240. doi.gov/bureau-indian-affairs. Grant money for Indian-owned businesses. Minority Business Development Agency. Department of Commerce. Washington, D.C. 20230. 202-482-5196. doc.gov/resources/mbita_info. Grant money for minority business development. Grants are awarded up to $2 million to stimulate business growth. Office of Multi-Family Housing Management. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Washington, D.C. 20410. HUD.gov. Grant money for real estate investors who rent to elderly or handicapped people. Program Support Branch. Management Operations Division. Office of Multi-Family Housing Management. Department of Housing and Development. Washington, D.C. 20420. HUD.gov. Grant money for investors in rental apartment buildings who are in financial trouble. Small Business Administration. Office of Disaster Assistance. 409 3rd St. SW. Washington, D.C. 20416. 202-205-6734. SBA.gov. U.S. Department of Agriculture. Agricultural Stabilization and Conservation Service. POG 2415. Washington, D.C. 20013. 202-720-6221. USDA.gov. Grants for participating in federal conservation programs, commodity loans for helping with crops, cotton product stabilization assistance, feed grain production stabilization, dairy indemnity program if your milk was removed from the market by a public agency because of pesticides in it, emergency livestock assistance, forestry incentive programs, grain reserve programs, National Wool Act payments, rice production stabilization, rural clean water program, water sanctuary for birds program, wheat production stabilization, etc. Government publications. The following agencies write and publish articles and reports. Contact them for information. Contact the first two for their catalogs of government publications. Preface your letters with Public Information Office. Consumer Information Center. Pueblo, Colorado 81009. 888-8 Pueblo. Fax 719-948-9724. Publications.usa.gov. Contact them and get their free catalog, which contains many publications. Superintendent of Documents. U.S. Government Printing Office. Washington, D.C. 20402. 202-512-1800. Fax 202-512-1716. access.gpo.gov/sa_docs. This is the central government printing office, which categorizes all its publications into subject bibliographies, which are listed in the free catalog. Subject of bibliographies, a guide to government information. With this, there's an order form where you can check off the subject bibliographies you want. Also request the catalog called Subscriptions, listing all government newsletters, U.S. Government Information Catalog of publications, as well as the new products from the U.S. Government Catalog. Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service. Public Information. Department of Agriculture. Federal Building, Room 613. 4700 River Road. Riverdale, Maryland 20737. 301-436-7799. 301-734-5386. aphis.usda.gov. Many free booklets about pets and animals, i.e. pets, they need proper care to travel by air. Bureau of Engraving and Printing. 14th and C. St. S.W. Washington, D.C. 20228. 202-874-3019. bep.trees.gov. Booklets about currency and money. Bureau of Indian Affairs. Mail Stop 2620. U.S. Department of the Interior. Washington, D.C. 20240. 202-208-3711. doi.gov/bureau-indian-affairs. Free booklets, American Indians Today, Famous Indians and Indian Land Areas, a listing of Indian reservations in the United States. Center for Veterinary Medicine. FDA. 7500 Standish Place. Rockville, Maryland 20855. 301-594-1740. cvm.fda.gov. Free pamphlets on how to care for animals. Central Intelligence Agency. Photo Duplication Service. Library of Congress. Washington, D.C. 20540. 202-287-5650. CIA.gov. LOC.gov. Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy. Clearinghouse. POB 3048. Silver Spring, Maryland 22116. 800-363-3732. 800-523-2929. 800-233-3071, Alaska and Hawaii. 800-462-4983, Pennsylvania. 800-273-2957, TDD. 800-273-2955, BBS. Aaron.doe.gov. Free recycling booklets. Environmental Protection Agency. 401 M. St. S.W. MS 3404. Washington, D.C. 20460. 202-260-2080. EPA.gov. Many booklets, for the children, free coloring books, Save Our Endangered Species, Chesapeake Bay and several others. Food and Drug Administration. Rockville, Maryland 20857. FDA.gov. Many booklets, for the children, Dennis the Menace Takes a Poke at Poison comic book. Federal Aviation Administration. 400 7th St. Southwest. Washington, D.C. 20590. 202-366-7500. FAA.gov. Free educational booklets. Federal Emergency Management Agency. POB 70274. Washington, D.C. 20024. FEMA.gov. Free Sesame Street Fire Safety Resource Book. Forest Service. USDA. 14th and Independence, SW. Washington, D.C. 20090-6090. 202-205-1510. fs.fed.us. USDA.gov. Comic book Smokey the Bear, booklets about trees, etc. Madison Gift Shop. Library of Congress. Washington, D.C. 20540. 202-707-0204. LOC.gov. Catalog of gift items. National Energy Information Center. 1000 Independence Avenue, SW. Washington, D.C. 20585. 202-586-8800. DOE.gov. Free booklets about gas, oil, etc. National Gallery of Art. 4th Saint and Constitution Ave. NW. Washington, D.C. 20565. 202-842-6273. nga.gov/resources. Free educational materials. National Gallery of Art. 2000 South Club Drive, Landover, Maryland 20785. 301-322-5900. nga.gov. Free art reproductions on postcards. National Museum of American Art. Smithsonian Institution. Washington, D.C. 20560. 202-357-3095. si.edu. Free educational brochures about artists and art. National Museum of American History. Smithsonian Institute. Washington, D.C. 20560. 202-357-1487. si.edu. Many free educational publications. National Museum of Natural History. Smithsonian Institution. Washington, D.C. 20560. 202-357-1592. si.edu. Many free educational publications. Office of Nuclear Energy. 1000 Independence Avenue, SW. Washington, D.C. 20585. 202-586-6450. ne.doe.gov. Many free educational publications. Small Business Administration. 409 3rd St. Southwest. Washington, D.C. 20416. 800 U Ask SBA. 202-205-6740. sba.gov. Free SBA catalog plus pamphlets containing information and a bibliography about crafts, both as an art and as a business. Superintendent of Documents. U.S. Government Printing Office. Washington, D.C. 20402. 202-783-3238. access.gpo.gov/sa_docs. The Free Catalog Recreation and Outdoor Activities, SB 017, is a listing of federal government publications on biking, water sports, national recreation areas, winter activities, and more. U.S. Coast Guard. 2100 2nd St. Southwest. Washington, D.C. 20593. 202-267-1587. uscg.mil. Free Coloring Book, Our Day with the Coast Guard. U.S. Department of Interior. 18th and C Streets, NW. Room 1013. Washington, D.C. 20240. 202-343-5000. 4747. DOI.gov. Brochures with maps of trails throughout the National Park Service are available free of charge. When placing your order, specify the geographical area you are interested in. If you call, you will at first hear a recording. Stay on the line if you wish to speak with someone. U.S. Fire Administration. 16825 South Seaton Avenue, Emmitsburg, Maryland 21727. 301-447-6771. usfa.fema.gov. Curious Kids Set Fire Kit. U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. U.S. Department of the Interior. 4401 North Fairfax Drive. Mail Stop 130. Arlington, Virginia 22203. 703-358-1711. fws.gov. Many interesting booklets about animals and nature, particularly for children. U.S. Geological Survey. POG 25425. Denver, Colorado 80225. USGS.gov. Free educational booklets about earthquakes, glaciers, rocks, etc. U.S. Postal Service Olympic Pen Pal Club. POG 9419. Gaithersburg, Maryland 20898. USPS.com. Children can join this Pen Pal Club for children. Vacations Unlimited. Superintendent of Documents. U.S. Government Printing Office. Washington, D.C. 20402. 202-783-3238. access.gpo.gov/su_docs. The government writes travel books for just about every country in the world, each for a low cost. Your Congressman. U.S. Congress. Washington, D.C. 20515. 202-224-3121. House.gov. Each congressional office has a large stock of hanging wall calendars, containing beautiful photographs of Washington scenes. Write for a free calendar. Disabled People Grants/Disabled People Money. Disabled individuals and disabled organizations try to get funding to better their lot in life. fdncenter.org/collections, Foundation Center Libraries and Cooperating Collections. fdnCenter.org/learn/classroom/fgdi_tour/index.html, The Foundation Center's database includes information on 65,000 foundations. abledata.com/site_2/funding.pdf, funding for assistive technology. ashfoundation.org, American Speech Language Hearing Foundation, 301-493-4914. cdpublications.com, Disability Funding News. childrenwithdisabilities.ncjrs.org/grants.html, Children with Disabilities, Grants and Funding. Citisoft.com, Citisoft Community Enterprise. deafreach.org, 202-832-6681. eop.com, Careers and the Disabled. fdncenter.org, The Foundation Center. Gallaudet.edu, Gallaudet University, 202-651-5000, for deaf people. lnps.fdncenter.org, The Foundation Center's Literature of the Nonprofit Sector online. loc.gov/NLS, National Library Service for the Blind and Physically Handicapped, 202-707-5100. nod.org, National Organization on Disability, 202-293-5960. Voice, 202-293-5968. TDD. newyorkfa.org/vh/disabilities.pdf, New York Foundation for the Arts, Resources for Artists with Disabilities. unitedwaynca.org, United Way of the National Capital Area, 202-488-2015. governmentgrants.com/housing-grants/housing-assistance-for-elderly-disabled-people. grants.com/government-offering-grants-for-disabled. Grantvine.net/services/medical-disability-grants.html. collegegrant.net/disabilities. womensbusinessgrants.com/disabled.shtml. jamiek.hubpages.com/hub/government-grants-for-disabled. accessible.org/disability-grants.html. thedisabilitydigest.com/grants.htm. articles-natch.com/articles/all-about-grants-for-disabled-people/660255. Chapter 4. Grant websites. Government benefits/government grants websites. grants.gov. grantsolutions.gov. cfda.gov. sba.gov. usa.gov. govbenefits.gov, a partnership of many federal agencies and organizations. usa.gov/citizen/topics/benefits.shtml. grants.gov. federalgrantswire.com. grantmoneywomen.blogspot.com. lescobooks.com/moneyclub.htm. bizwarehouse.com/government_grant. free-grant-money.net. federalgovernmentgrant.com. federalgranthelp.org. federalgranthelp.com. freemoneyguy.com, matthewlesko.com. aarp.org/benefits, 888-687-2277. mygovernmentbenefits.com/resources. cfda.gov, Catalog of Federal Domestic Assistance. fedmoney.org. freegovmoney.net. freemoney.com. free-money-grants.info. government-free-money.com. governmentguide.com/benefits_and_assistance/freemoney.adp. gov-resources.com. grants.gov, federal grants. gsa.gov/fdac, Catalog of Federal Domestic Assistance. money4free.us. socialsecurity.gov, ssa.gov. socialsecurity.gov, the Social Security Administration. You get benefits if you paid in enough through work to reach their standard. Grant websites. 1. businessweek.com/smallbiz/0001/SA0001111.htm, the myth of free government money, a perennial and pernicious scam. 12.46.245.173/PLS/portal30/catalog.grant_proposal_dine.show, developing and writing grant proposals. 1. governmentgrants.com. aafrc.org, Fundraising Council. access.gpo.gov/su_docs/aces/aces140, Federal Register. Administration, Federal Grant Resources. advsol.com/public/products. anlsc.gov, grants to provide legal services to the poor. aoa.dhhs.gov/jpost/gr-foundations. artistgrantsmasterlist.com. arts.endow.gov, National Endowment for the Arts. arts.gov, National Endowment for the Arts. ascentech.com. atosgrantriding.com. bigdatabase.com. booksatos.com/grants.htm, books A to Z grant listings. Grants opportunities. capitalpublications.com, government grants 888-384-9608. cfda.gov, Catalog of Federal Domestic Assistance. cfda.gov, Catalog of Federal Domestic Assistance. chardonpress.com/titles/ip_resources. charitychannel.com/e-newsletters/gfr, grants and foundations review. charitychannel.com/e-newsletters/gfr/index.asp, Charitycanals Grants and Foundations Review e-newsletter. chiefsupply.com/grants, grant writing. cia.edu/academic resources/library_content/specialized_guides/money_biblio.pdf. cof.org, Council on Foundations. communityfoundationlocator.com, Foundations by State. compellingproposals.com/services.html. completegrantsources.com. conservationgrants.com, Conservation Grants Center. cs.cmu.edu/FINA-ID/FINA-ID, database of grants. $grants.com. ed.gov, Education. ed.gov/about/offices/list/ocfo/grants/grants.html, Directory of Operating Grants, Research Grant Guides, Inc. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/grant_left_money right-. entrepreneur.com/article/0,4621,3153570.00.html. expressgrant.com. fastweb.com, Scholarships on Fastweb. fdncenter.org. fdncenter.org. fdncenter.org, Foundation Center Online. fdncenter.org, The Foundation Center. fdncenter.org/book/contents.html, Foundation Center Catalog of Publications and Services. fdncenter.org/learn/orient/individual1.html, Online orientation to the grant-seeking process for individuals. fdncenter.org/onlib/orient/introl.html, Grant Seminar. fdncenter.org/pnd/current, Philanthropy News Digest. federalgovernmentgrant.com, Government grants, government loans, and free grant money. federalgovernmentgrant.com/apply for grants/applications for grants.htm, application for free grants. federalgranthelp.com. federalgranthelp.net. federalgranthelp.org. federalgrantswire.com. fedmoney.com/grants.